Today we're going to be talking about NFTs, which is like something I only recently learned about. And so I'm going to go ahead and let Shirin introduce herself and then explain to us why she thinks we need to think about NFTs as part of our business.
Thanks, Melissa. Hi, everyone. So great to be here. I am Shirin, the founder of Rakomova Law. We are a full-service boutique law firm that helps your business set up for success. We can do your business setups, your commercial agreements, your partnership employment agreements, and get you prepared for your investment round as well. So if you have any questions, about your business or how to get protected, then leave us. You can contact me directly. I'll leave you a link to in the chat box to my email, or you can go to the website and schedule a consultation whenever. So, and I'm really happy to talk about NFTs. I know we wanted to talk about it a few weeks ago, but this is definitely something that businesses that produce creative work, like artists, like photographers, if they're not using NFTs, then they're missing out on a huge revenue stream because this will help. It will revolutionize the way that that you sell your artwork and your other creative visual works of art.
So, well, thanks so much for bringing this to our attention. I think it's always been a frustrating part of the fashion industry is you have all of these designers who create things and you can't really copyright it, and things get stolen so easily. So this seems like this is like one little thing we can do, and it might actually bring some money. So I find that really, really cool. So NFTs stand for non-fungible tokens. Can you tell us what the word fungible, what does that word mean?
I know there's so much going on. A non-fungible token is essentially, it's a digital asset. So it's essentially, I mean, everyone's heard of cryptocurrency. Well, this is a cryptographic token, which is actually created, or as they say, minted and managed by smart contracts. These are digital contracts. And the metadata that holds the content of the digital asset is actually recorded on a distributed ledger, otherwise known as the blockchain. And that certifies that the digital asset is unique and therefore not interchangeable. So think of it in real terms. If you own a car, right, the asset is the car, and then you've got that title, ownership title. That's the smart contract. So the metadata is the actual asset, and then the smart contract is what shows who the true owner is of that asset. And as I said, NFTs can be used to represent photos, videos, audio, and other types of digital files. You can actually use it for text as well. You purchase them on a marketplace that sells NFTs. And then the actual transactions are performed with a digital wallet or another application that allows you to pay for it and then receive the digital asset through your application.
Okay, so the obvious ways we can use this in the fashion industry are photographs, digital art that perhaps maybe you've created for printing on t-shirts, or I guess if you've created digital art where you can do digital printing on fabric, that would be another use. What about even something like if you've created a pattern for, like you've designed a new coat, and you're a pattern maker and you've created a pattern, would you be able to use it for that?
Yes, I mean the point is that you want to create something that's unique, that's not in the market. So if you have created a patent, excuse me, a design that you may have a patent over, or a trademark over the design, then that is definitely something that you can utilize through the use of NFTs and make money with licensing them. So just like as if you would make money licensing your brand or whatever you created, um, with another company to use on their brand, you can do it digitally. And the best part about this, and this is why I say, if you're not doing it, then you're missing out on a huge revenue stream, because by using smart contracts, you not only will get paid for the sale, but you'll get paid for the resale. So it will continue to track the sale of that asset. So if you've sold your digital work to someone else and they eventually sell it off in a few years or whatever, then you would actually get a portion of that resale, as well as a royalty, which is not something that happens in the real world. Like, think about someone who sells their artwork, and the original, of course. Now, once they sell it, they don't keep track of who the owner resold it to if they decided to sell it off, whether it's Sotheby's or whatever. The artist never gets another portion of that. They got the portion from the point that they sold it. And unless they had obviously put that into their contracts, which most don't, they would never be able to get a portion of the resale. And the same thing with if you license it. If you enter into a licensing agreement of your creative work with another entity, then if they sublicense it, or you would again continue to get a portion of that fee, and it's easily traced and trackable. And that's what makes it an easy way to do business.
Okay. Now, the first time I heard about this was I saw a 60 Minutes program about Beeple. Have you heard of Beeple? This
No.
guy named Beeple. Okay, so let's see. I looked up his name real quick. His name is Mike Winkelman, and so he has an Instagram account. I think it's called Every Days, and so for a very long time, he's been creating a new work of art every single day. And he's got like a style that's very like surreal and weird, and so he's had a huge Instagram following, which I think is what's such a cool thing about this, is because, like, if you're using your Instagram to show your art, that's out there for everybody to see. And then so what Winkleman did was he took he had created 5,000 pieces of art, and that he had put on his Instagram every day. And then he created this big, a big, picture, like a just a giant digital image that had all 5,000 pieces of art. And then he sold it at Christie's for $60 million. And
Yes,
he's
I
got an
did hear about that
NFT.
one. Yes.
Yeah, so he has an NFT. So then,
Yes.
no matter where he, so the artist, so the person that bought it for 60 million has the rights to resell it, and then people will always get a cut, which
Yes.
that's amazing.
That's absolutely true. And the other thing is that, just I want to make a distinction. So when you do sell your NFT, your work of art as an NFT, as the creator, you still maintain copyrights, moral rights is what they call it, which is the right to prevent modification of that work. So they cannot modify it in any way. So and they cannot license it or resell it. Like, all they could do is resell the work. They could not distribute it or make copies of it. So that's another important aspect, that is, you still maintain your rights as the creator to those. So you maintain the integrity of that art our art piece so that it continues to live on. And that's the goal, is that what you just described, it's original works of art. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you have to be creative. It has to, the other goal of creating a high worth NFT is, creating scarcity. So don't duplicate it. And this is something I wanted to get into later on, about the licensing of your creative work and how that works with NFTs, because you've got to maintain exclusivity, scarcity, in order to really create high value in your creative work. So with that example, that was a unique piece of art. Say for, I dealt with another photographer, Jason Turner, who's a member, and, he's created, he's captured, iconic images, historic images, which, again, this is what an NFT is really made for, capturing those moments in time, beautiful moments. And he's created that with some of his pictures, has captured historic moments in time. And the value that it has in the real world is, relatively high. But what the potential is in the NFT world, which is open to anyone and everyone, and the possibilities are exponentially greater to make more money using that, and be able to track the resale and continue to make money as that art form continues to grow and only become more and more iconic. So that's a great way of using NFTs, as opposed to just selling your work directly to someone and then, basically saying goodbye to it afterwards.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay. So Jeffrey Werner has posted a question in the comments, and I do want to encourage everybody who's listening today to, if you're on Zoom, use the chat to send us your questions about this. We know it's kind of a confusing concept, so because it's so new. So if you are, depending on what your business is, if you have an idea of how, this might help you protect your artwork and make money off of it, put that question in the chat, and then we'll have Shirin give us advice. So the first question from Jeffrey is, are the resale royalty payments based on the full resale amount or on the net increase from the original purchase price?
Well, I mean, generally speaking, these things are always, they can be negotiated, but whether they're from the royalties would probably be from the market value at the time of sale. So that's usually how the royalties work. Unless, of course, there's also the deductions of costs and things like that. But on a piece of artwork, it's based on market value. Okay. Whereas other, I know with music files, it's a little bit different, because there's additional costs that go into the development of that. So those get taken out before the royalties get extracted.
So can you use NFTs on music as well?
Yes, if it's original, its audio files are included as an NFT, absolutely. Another example is Twitter's, the founder of Twitter, his first tweet went for almost $3 billion. It's a tweet.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So Kat, I want to get you in here because you've got, in your line of work, you're in touch with so many different artists because you do lots of different things. I know that you're working on a music catalog to promote the SDGs. You're also working on a music catalog for Fashion Week music. And then you also happen to be, your late husband also happened to be the creator of, I think, over 100 Marvel characters, and the creator of Captain America.
Captain America, right? Exactly.
Yeah. So why don't you? Yeah.
My question about NFTs, because I'm talking to some people who want to do some NFTs about him. Do I owe Marvel Comics a piece of that royalty or resale value when I use something of my husband's work It's a very slippery slope, because I don't want to get involved with Disney and Marvel.
Well, it is, and I'm glad you brought it up, because one of the examples I wanted to share is what happened with DC Comics and its creatives. And what happened is one of the artists that had drew many famous characters, including Wonder Woman, ended up selling them as NFTs and earning $1.85 million selling them. And of course, once DC Comics got a hold of this, they sent a stern warning to all the creatives that said, you are not allowed to sell unlicensed NFTs. So, you know, to answer Kat's question, it would go back to his employment agreement and what that entailed and what he had rights to. If it was a work for hire, right? So then Marvel, you know, they keep his intellectual property and all of the characters that he created. So then you would have to ask them for a license in order to utilize that as an NFT. And that's a very good point, because a lot of NFTs use third-party IPs in creating the work of art, whether it's through the picture, whether it's, as you know, as Kat mentioned, using characters from other, you know, that were created for other companies, and, you know, sort of mixing them together into creating an original work of art. So, you know, IP owners are now obviously are waking up to the fact that this is a huge source of revenue and they want to get into it. So they are coming down on anyone that's using their you know, image, likeness, brand, logo, whatever it may be, without their authorization. So you have to be very careful. You've got to make sure you have permission to use everything that's in the art form that you've created, or in the text, or whatever it may be. And of course, when you're doing that, you also want to make sure you're protecting yourself as an NFT, which means when you go to register your mark with the trademarks office, for example, if you've got a unique brand logo that you want to use or create NFTs with, you've got to make sure that you've registered in the classes that they need to be registered in. So for example, someone that sells apparel, right, a fashion company that sells apparel, may not have thought to register an apparel as class 25. They may not have thought about registering them in class 9, which is downloadable software. That's what an NFT is. So if you didn't register it in the right class, then you may not have protections for your trademark as an NFT. So be very cautious when you're registering your trademark and the intent that you have, which is why it's so important to always make a map, make a plan of your business and where you see yourself and what you see utilizing as in your products and services. And if you want to use NFTs, then register for them. You have over 3 years with an intent to use application, to show proof of use. So you have time to register your mark and then eventually use it as an NFT, if that's something that you're interested in doing. But yeah, you have to be careful. You have to cover the class that it is registered in, or you may not be protected.
We're not hearing you, Kat.
Oh, okay. All right. Probably not. I'm off mute. It's okay.
Yeah, now we hear you now. Just fine.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because he's playing a character. They wrote a character that's based on my husband. That's in Loki right now. The film, the Amazon Disney streaming, and he's actually that character. So he is that character. My husband's likeness is that character. So it's going to get very slippery, because I've been asked to do an NFT on him, but this character was created based on him. So I may have to call you, Shirin.
Yeah, that sounds like you may need to lawyer up.
Curious about that, Kat, because I'm wondering whether or not they have the rights to use your husband's likeness in the first.
Exactly.
Yeah, we definitely need to talk.
Did they ask your permission, Catherine?
Well, they created this character in '86.
Okay.
He's the head of and Owen Wilson is playing him in the series. So he is head of the Time Variance Authority, because my husband was super organized, and he's the custodian of the Marvel Universe. So it was kind of a joke to make a likeness of him, that character that is head of the Time Variance Authority, which is incredibly complex character that keeps all the timelines in order. But it was kind of a joke. You know, they always put these little eggs into the comics that are kind of internal jokes, and you know, his likeness now is famous because he's that character that Owen Wilson is playing. And there's all kinds of things about why Owen Wilson has a mustache. My husband had a mustache. You know, all those eggs that, and it sets in, some of the stuff is set in Oshkosh. My husband's from Oshkosh. So there's all these internal private jokes that are going on. But if I minted an NFT based on Mark, who's based on the character that Mobius, then it's a whole thing, because I am the owner of his estate. But it's a really interesting. I'm so excited about this topic.
Yeah. This sounds like you've got
non-fungible could become non-fundable.
Yeah, that's amazing. Okay, yeah, you definitely need to talk to Shirin.
Yeah, right.
So, okay, so Jody has a question. Could you create an NFT from a holographic presentation, like the technique Pepper's Ghost, as long as it derives from a digital file? Now, let me just, I Googled what Pepper's Ghost is so I could explain it to everybody. It's an illusion technique used in theater, cinema, amusement parks, museums, television, and concerts. The technique has been used to make dead or virtual artists appear on stage in live concerts. Examples being Tupac Shakur and Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
to answer your question, yes, absolutely. You can do it with programmable art, layered art, generative art. All of these things can definitely be used to create NFTs. So to answer your question, yes, it absolutely is. As long as it's, again, unique.
But if you were creating a holographic presentation of somebody famous, you don't have the right to that, do you?
Right. That's what I was saying to Kat. That's Kat's issue is do they have permission to use your name or likeness? And this is not just in the public forum where you're just creating it. When you're using it as an NFT, your intent to sell. So you're commercializing it, which is different from, let's say, Kat's example of an internal joke where they created a likeness of Mark and now they're making money selling it as a character. So it's a different level. Yes, you would need permission from that person to create that NFT. Yes.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so Daniel wants to know, could you use NFTs for blogs or websites?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, texts are, and books as well are part of that. Again, the point is if you want to sell it, you have to create something that's sellable, that's excitable, that's unique. So that's really what you need to think about when you're creating these NFTs, and also the scarcity aspect of it. But licensing it is another way of course, utilizing the NFT without actually selling it. So you don't have to give up all rights to it. You can just license it like your brand logo to use it with interchangeably. Big name brands are doing that with their famous logos, luxury brands, and mixing it up with holographic imagery and all sorts of, artwork that displays it in a new form. But again, you want to create a license. When you're creating the license, you want to be very careful in your licensing agreement, more so than with your real life licensing, because the point of the value that's created by your underlying NFT is the scarcity. It's the exclusivity aspect of it. So some things to think about when you're looking to license your NFT: limit the scope of license to just the agreed upon authorized uses, right? So if we take Kat's example of her husband, they would have they would have agreed to only using his likeness in doing this or that in this particular medium, not in any and all, right? So you want to be very specific with how it's being used and where it's being used. And obviously limit the instances, so how many times it can be used. Specify the license fee based on the sale and resale. So, you know, to answer Jeff's question earlier, you can actually go into and modify these agreements to obviously personalize them to what the parties agreed to. And limit the modifications. Of course, you want to make sure that you maintain the integrity of the original work. So you want to prohibit subsequent modifications or other combinations or any changes whatsoever. And then specify where it's going to be distributed, so you know exactly where the channels are. And with a digital asset, the greatest thing is that you can track it. And that's the nicest part, because it is all done through smart contracts. And I believe someone asked, how do you track the buyers? Everything is tracked through a constant chain of smart contracts. So there's easily, you can find chain of title very easily, and chain of usage as well, through all the different mediums that are utilizing the NFT. So it's a lot easier to keep track of than if you were to sell your artwork or your photography, in real life. So these are just some things to think about.
We did a session in May with Oliver, who's one of our New York City photographers, and he was, telling us all the things that he has to do to try and track the photography that's out there in the universe. So this sounds like, especially for, like, if you say you were a New York Fashion Week photographer and you got an amazing photo of a celebrity or a famous model, would you be able to put an NFT on that? Because you don't have the right to use their picture. I mean, you don't have the right, when you're a photographer at New York Fashion Week, you don't have to sign anything that said, but I mean, if it's somebody else's likeness, you took the picture, can you still make money off that? I mean, he can sell his pictures.
Yes. Yes. Well, I think we talked about this a little while back, about when you go to an event, you've got disclaimers, and those disclaimers say that your picture may be taken for use in X, Y, and Z. So when you
forgetting that, I just set up an event today that's in person. I got to add that.
You better add that, Melissa. So you put these disclaimers in your events, and so everyone that comes through, they acknowledge and accept the fact that this is not private, and their pictures may be taken and it may be used. So you are getting permission, and that's the point. If you went to someone's home or went somewhere private where they did not provide you with permission, that's different.
Okay. So Andres wants to know, does it save, and maybe you covered this, but after he posted this already, but does it save the information of the buyer? So like the original NFT has the information of the artist, and then does it save the information of each buyer and a list of all the buyers? Is that publicly available?
Well, I mean, the point of blockchain is to maintain anonymity, to a sense, right? So you don't necessarily know who directly you're buying it, you're selling it to, but because again, it's done through different chains. The metadata is here, your platform is there, they're getting it through a digital wallet, it's done through an intermediary and a series of intermediaries. So there's no direct exchange. And that maintains the anonymity of someone who wants to buy a $3 million tweet, so, or, how obviously artwork is sold to people that are, willing to pay a high price, but wanting to maintain their privacy. So that's why blockchain exists. And that's why all of these ways of utilizing them are becoming more and more popular. So it is, you can't get the list, but what you know is that it's internally tracked. So again, if you're the originator and you sold it to B, then that sold it to C, you would just automatically get a portion of those proceeds as they continue to, be sold to others or so forth. So you would get recognized for it because it would automatically always link back to you, but you don't know names, numbers, information, bank accounts. None of that stuff is exchanged on blockchain. So there's no list of names.
Okay. So let's talk about how we sign up. Like, how do we go through the process of, if we have a piece of digital art that we want to get an NFT on, where do we go to get that set up?
So it has to be obviously in digital form, and you can then create an account. There's different, there's NFT marketplaces for different, items like games. Go into certain categories to marketplaces that are just for like games and those related things. General marketplaces for artwork, places like Rarible, OpenSea, Open Bazaar. Of course, you would load it up like you would load up anything that you were selling on a platform like Etsy, for example. So you would load up your digital asset, and it goes, once it gets loaded in, it goes into a metadata. So now it's not a file folder that you download. It's a metadata, and it's broken up. So then no one actually knows where it's coming from and who it's going to. And then, of course, there's fees to pay. Now, I heard that the Guggenheim is actually looking to create their own platform with more favorable fees for their users. So that's another interesting make. As you can see, art galleries are really understanding and appreciating the true value that this has to change their business. And that's why I'm saying everyone needs to get to this level and start sharing their, selling their creative work and utilizing the access that they have to billions of people around the world by doing it in this way. Yeah.
Okay. So I just posted to the chat a link to a bunch of NFT marketplaces. It has a really good, it's posted by Influencer Marketing Hub, which you know already, that's a great site to read. and so it goes through the different, they've got 10, let's see, at least 10 different, they've got 11 different marketplaces, and they summarize the different, features for each of those sites. So it's crazy that there's already this many sites, and we're just now learning about this concept where you can go. So Dee, thanks for joining us. I know you're super busy with Hamptons Fashion Week and Times Square Fashion Week, so I appreciate you jumping on. This is probably, I don't know, have you had any of your clients mention, the need for blockchain or NFTs with the things that they create?
I actually took a class about this. It's very complicated. It's just very extensive. I'm not an expert in it, but I do know about it. I know how it works. I'm still trying to grasp how it all works.
Yeah, how to apply it.
It's very interesting, and it is the future. I do believe that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just exciting that people do have another way. We've got so many opportunities for creatives to share their work, and things get swiped all the time. So I wonder if any of you know in practicality, so if you put your item on on one of these NFT marketplaces, so it's embedded that code just like into metadata, and then if somebody still takes it and they use it somewhere, I guess you can see where it's at through that meta. You can find it, right, on whatever site it is. I mean, can you talk about, are there still issues where you could still get your work stolen even if you have an NFT? And what are the ways you can keep track of where, like if somebody took your digital, like say you had artwork on an NFT marketplace, and somebody took that artwork and then printed it on a bunch of t-shirts and sold them at a flea market. I mean, there's no way to track that, right?
Right. I mean, it's still, the technology is new, as you mentioned, the service is new. They're ever changing the way that it's able to track and trace the metadata that contains the digital asset, and how it's being used. There are platforms that are suggesting that they have wares that prevent the ability to copy, to download, to to change the way that the metadata has been received. So it is possible, but again, it is a new technology. I want to say that the law is also very new on this, and it's constantly changing. So it's definitely something to not jump into head first. Tread carefully, as Dee mentioned, learn about it, learn how to utilize it, because you don't want to make mistakes that can cost you a lot.
Yeah.
Kat was mentioning gas prices. So gas prices is essentially, what you're buying to push along the process. And because, as we mentioned, it's a highly complicated it's smart contracts, so they're not like a piece of paper that you signed and go on. It's broken up into more into digital pieces, essentially. So in order to push that along, they charge higher gas prices to push that along. And so those are some of the fees that newer platforms are trying to eliminate or reduce, and offering better services, better quality. So as anything else, as we're seeing newer platforms coming in, we're going to see better ways that they're going to make it more user friendly, because it does cost money to do this. But think about it, you do have the ability to track and trace and get resale off of your sale. So those things, it's like everything else, nothing is for free. So you've got to pay to be able to have these options and these benefits, and being in a marketplace where you're essentially opening yourself up to the world. So
yeah. Wow. Okay, so this is amazing information. Shirin, thank you so much for sharing this with us. I think that we all have a lot to digest, but I think it's really great to know this exists, so that if you are creating unique art, you can at least start thinking about this, educating yourself in it, and take steps to use an NFT to protect and make money. That would be amazing. All we're trying to do. So anyway, I want to take the last few minutes of this session to actually kind of, I know I've been talking to several of our regular panelists about what to do with Mastermind now that COVID is, under control in theory, and we're and people are getting back to work, events are happening, there's so much going on for us as well as the other panelists. And so what we'd like to do going forward is have a mastermind once a month, and we will that way we will have more time to prepare, do the marketing. It's this you wouldn't believe how much work goes into just doing what little we actually pull off. so we want to do a better job at promoting what the experts are telling, sharing out to the world, and creating some even better content than we have. Some of the other things that we're going to start doing, we're going to start tiptoeing into live events in New York City on July 20th through 22nd is Tex World. And on July 20th, we'll be having our Tex World virtual networking happy hour. And so we'll send all of you guys information on that. So that's open to everybody all over the world. And it is a great opportunity to meet people, suppliers, producers from other countries, you know, if you need to make those kind of connections for sourcing. And then on Thursday, the 22nd, we are going to actually have an in-person event at Tex World. Normally, Tex World hosts, well, they have the trade show at the Javits Center, but they are not bringing the exhibitors in to the country because of COVID, and so they have a new location that's smaller. It's in Chelsea, and they're going to set it up as a sourcing showroom experience. So the exhibitors have sent apparel and textiles. They've shipped that in. And so you'll be able to go through the showroom and touch and feel everything. Look at how it's, put together in a clothing, etc. And then the way I understand it is each item is going to have like a QR code label where you can just like snap it and get the information of the company that does those textiles. So you can then use the Tex World app to actually book an appointment with that supplier, so that you can have a Zoom meeting with them or whatever, and go ahead and take care of your supplying needs. Now, what they've asked us to do is an explore the floor tour. And so what we will be bringing in some of our Fashion Mingle experts in sourcing, production, manufacturing that are based in New York City, and they will be your tour guides. And so when you come in, we're going to have tours starting at the top of the hour on Thursday the 22nd at noon, 1, 2, and 3. And so, so we need you to register. You can go to, let me just put it on here real quick, fashionmingle.com/TexWorld. And you can sign up, you can register for Tex World there, because you do have to have a registration to get into the building. You can sign up for the virtual networking, and you can get a ticket to attend the Explore the Floor tour. And we're excited about offering this opportunity because you're going to have an expert in sourcing and production and manufacturing right there with you. So as you're, looking at all these different fabrics and everything, and you have questions about how to use them or how to manufacture with them or how to source them, you're going to have someone right there with you that can answer all your questions. So I'm super excited about providing that opportunity for our Fashion Mingle experts. And so you can, we've got a few people signed up as experts, and we're reaching out to some more over the next week to get more experts signed up to help with that. And then we think, I'm still like changing emails, but we think we're going to have a little in-person networking event afterwards, where at a local hotel. So if you want to come in for the Tex World event, we are going to have a discount for the name of the hotel is Stay Pineapple, and it's very fashion forward. The rooms are like decorated and very exotic styles. It's a very, very cool boutique hotel. And so you'll get a discount code for that if you need a hotel. Also, that discount code will be to use anytime you want to come into New York City. You can use that discount code, and even for New York Fashion Week. So so it's a fun hotel. It's a great group of people, and we're excited to partner with them. So go to the website, the fashionmingle.com Tex World. Look at the 3 events that we're promoting there, and then as we get this in-person networking, it'll just be like a little cocktail hour. The number of people will be limited because the space is limited, etc. And I do believe most people are still requiring you to wear a mask when you're inside a building in New York City. So be prepared to do that, even if you are vaccinated. So then what we hope to do after New York Fashion Week is over, because we will be doing some things during Fashion Week as well. We want to start actual workshops. We've been doing these mentoring sessions for, well over a year now. So you have a lot of general information that you've received from these sessions. And so we want to help you start putting it into action. And so there's a lot of topics that we've covered that, our expert panelists can actually, we can do a workshop where you can like, okay, here's how you do this, and give you the documentation, give you the advice to do it right. Here's all the ins and outs of how to do it. And so we're going to start offering those kinds of activities to just help people get beyond like understanding the concept to actually putting it into practice in your business so that you can set your business up for growth over the next year. Okay, so lots of, and then we're also going to try to do one event a month in New York City, live event. We'll see how that goes in the fall with the COVID rates. I know New York City is over 70% vaccinated, but still we'll wait and see. But we have a lot of different kinds of events planned that would appeal to, or we have a lot of different event ideas. We don't have anything planned of things that would give our membership, which is a really broad group of people, different kinds of opportunities to learn and to get, kind of insider access to experts that can help them with their business. So it's been a really fun year having this group of people with us. And I really just am so grateful to Shirin and Dee and Catherine and Dale, who couldn't make it today, for being with us for, I don't know, it's like been probably about 15 months. We've been meeting every Friday. So you guys rock. We really appreciate everything that you've done to support this over the last year.
And I learned so much, Melissa. It was just an incredible opportunity to, network virtually. And I learned so much, and it just grounded me. It kept me on track, and I felt connected, and, it's just a wonderful, and I look forward to keeping them going, and having them more intense and, probably better attended then. So.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we've definitely noticed that since things opened up, certainly during COVID shutdown, we had a lot of people coming, but now
Right.
People are just getting back to normal life, and nobody, nobody can take the time. If their business is growing, you got to work.
Right.
So we totally are excited about just how much work is out there for people. And so we're really thrilled for everybody to get back to making money. So so just to recap on the dates, the next Mastermind is going to be on July 16th. And that topic is going to be about fit technology in the fashion industry. Dale Noel is bringing in some really cool experts in that area. So you're going to learn all about the latest technology for fit. Super excited about that. And then just remember and then the following Tuesday is the Text World Networking event that's virtual. So you're all invited to attend that as well. And then if you're in New York City or the area, you can come in to meet us at Text World on the 22nd. And then we'll have, another one in August, a Mingle Mastermind in August, one in September, et cetera, et cetera. So, but I would love to get an update from Dee and Catherine on their events. Dee, can you tell us about how Hampton's Fashion Week is going and remind everybody of the dates?
So yeah, I was just gonna say, Melissa, that I look forward to when we have a live mastermind event where all of us will be on the same platform.
I'm thinking about it.
So I'm looking forward to that. So Hamptons Fashion Week is full force. I've been working 15-hour days just for that, and then that's not in addition to Times Square Fashion Week. But we have, it's gonna be, it's getting bigger. So we got a lot of RSVPs. So because of that, we had to get a bigger venue. And so right now we're we're off and running with the Southampton Hotel. It's called the Southampton Inn Hotel. It's a beautiful space, and it's much bigger than the Southampton Arts Center, but which is a good problem. But yeah, we have.
What are the dates, Dee? What are the dates?
So it's gonna be, we're having a pop-up Friday, August 6th, with a celebrity, and we can't make an announcement till he signs the contract, and then I'll make an announcement about that. Then we're doing a series of pop-up shopping events that Friday night as well. So we partnered with local stores. So it's going to be like a fashion night out in the Hamptons. And then,
fun.
yeah. And then on August 7th, we have Hamptons Fashion Week. That'll be from 5 to 9 p.m. at the Southampton Inn. And you could RSVP at Hamptons Fashion Week 2021 on eventbrite.com. Or Melissa has a affiliate code, which you could, Melissa, I'll send, make sure.
Yeah, it's in our newsletter every week. Let me grab that. I can put that in here as well.
And then Sunday is the Yacht Rose Brunch, which we're having fire chats with 2 celebrities on their brands. And we have this amazing app called Runway Buy. So as people are walking down the runway, people could shop real time and shop the runway. Yeah, we have entertainment. We got we got a lot going on.
I'm exhausted just hearing you.
What?
I'm exhausted.
A lot of layers there, Dee. I love it. A lot of layers.
Yeah. If I wasn't wired the way I am wired,
yeah,
I probably wouldn't be doing any of this. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I can't. I don't know how
your brain is like on overload, but it's obviously functioning.
You know, but
so tell us what you have planned for Times Square Fashion Week.
So Times Square Fashion Week, so we are excited. We're having designers. We're gonna make the announcement of all the designers, but we do have House of Beretti, who was with us last year. We have Cesar Galindo. He's the finale. And then we have 3 other designers that we're talking to, but we're finalizing everything by July 1st. There is going to be a full runway, like an actual runway in the middle of Times Square with seating on each side. We're going to do the double-decker bus tour with press right after. We're going to have an after party. So we have a lot of different things for that. And then I'm going to take a little vacation to the spa after September 13th or 14th.
Awesome.
And then we just put a link to the 10% off code for Hamptons Fashion Week. And then also we have one for Times Square Fashion Week. So thank you, Dee, for sharing that. It's also in our newsletter each week. So Kat, tell us how High Tech Moda's fashion production is going. Yep.
We're doing really well. We're going to be next up in Orlando for Orlando Swim Week, and we've got Orlando Fashion Magazine lined up, and we've got a master class for the models happening ahead of time. I'm bringing my Cosmoda cosplay runway down to do the launch party, so we're going to have this whole cosplay theme for the party. So that's another layer that's really cool. And we're just kind of building it out, and I really want to go back there, every season. So Orlando Swim Week becomes a thing. So I'm kind of booking some, they don't do morning shows now because of COVID, but we're having some reporters very excited to come down, and because they call it the City Beautiful. It's got more international tourists than Miami, and it needs its own swim week. So I'm very excited about that. And I'm also having Justin Haynes in the show, and I'm also commissioning him to do shirts for me because I'm doing an It's-A-Con. I'm doing a Comic-Con for my husband at the end of July, and he's going to do my shirt because he does those great patchwork things. So I'm going to have my husband's covers and artwork and everything on the shirt. So I'm excited about working with Justin's.
That's cool.
It was a great, it's great. I mean, I love how they're all just woven.
That's so cool. Melissa, we're speaking
very
cool. Justin's.
Yeah, Justin's invited us up to Springfield, Massachusetts. Dee and I are going to speak to, he's also an instructor at one of the local fashion schools. And so Dee and I are going to go up there and talk about collaborations in the fashion industry and events and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So Justin's awesome.
And tonight I'm doing my first cabaret performance with a sold out crowd. So I'm very happy to perform. It's at the Crane Theater down in the Lower East Side. 85 East 4th Street. And we're doing, for Pride, it's called the Queerly Cabaret. And I'm playing violin on 2 numbers. And it's going to be great to be back in front of an audience. I'm really tearing up thinking.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so, and it will be streamed live on the Fringe Festival, and Jackson Sturkey is, he's my discovery from 6 years ago, and he's curating it, and we're going to have a lot of great stuff happening at Pangeo, which is one of my favorite restaurants for the last 36 years. They didn't close, and we're keeping them going. We had cabaret last night, and it was, it's just good to get back. And I had a meeting with a designer, and it felt like old times. I felt like, wow. And then we're doing High Tech Moda at the Edison on the 10th and 11th of September. Okay. So Lights Up the Theater of Fashion will be the theme, and we lined up all the designers, and it's a great space. It's right off of Times Square on 47th Street, and you can check out www.hightech, HITECH Moda for tickets and for information on the shows. And I'm just excited to be back. I'm calling it Lights Up. We're coming back.
Well, very exciting. I know you guys are super busy, so you'll be relieved to at least have your a little bit more time on Fridays now for the next couple of weeks.
Exactly. But I feel like therapy. I'm going to miss my therapy.
I know. I mean, we could, if there's enough interest, to start it up again. But I felt like, at least for now, with everything going on, with all the in-person events we all have to deal with, we all need to be focusing on that. And then we need to kind of refresh what we're doing to take it to another level, so that our mastermind attendees can really start getting a lot more out of this for their businesses. So I'm excited about the new opportunities that are going to be coming up, and more educational opportunities in New York City. Oh, did we leave?
If anybody wants to book the mansion that I'm living in now in Staten Island, we have going on today.
Yeah, that's
so
awesome.
Just hit me up, because it's a great place to do a
yeah, if you need a photo shoot done, the mansion that Catherine lives and manages, the photo shoot projects, like the biggest magazines, brands do their photo shoots there, and the place is incredible. So definitely hit Catherine up if you want to learn more. So, well, we will let everybody go and get to the weekend. So thank you, ladies, for joining us, and everybody have a great weekend, and we'll be in touch with more information about what's coming up soon.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
everyone. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.